What's going on YouTube? This is Jabber Tech, and today I'm going to give you my full review on the brand new Google Pixel 5. This is the sort of sage color, which is sort of awesome, but there's also a just black if that's more your style. There are two color options, but there's only one storage option. But it's all about the Google experience. It's all about the Pixel goodness built inside of each one of these devices. And that's the number one reason why I haven't put my SIM card back into my higher spec phone, because the Pixel 5 has taught me that specs don't mean everything. It's more about that Pixel experience that keeps me coming back to this device and what keeps my SIM card in the Google Pixel 5. Before we talk about the Pixel experience, the Pixel goodness built inside of this device, some specs are worth noting, such as it is a 5G capable device. You have the 765G processor in here, and yes, that's not the latest and greatest, but again, specs don't mean everything, and the Pixel 5 proves that. The only thing I would say, if you're a serious gamer, if you're a mobile gamer on Android, this is probably not the best phone for you. But for most people out there, we do everyday tasks like make phone calls, troll the web, answer emails, send text messages, take a lot of photos, watch videos, and play the occasional game here and there. And for all of those things, the Pixel 5 does an excellent job. 8 gigabytes of RAM, more than enough RAM for anything you do. 128 gigabytes of storage, again, more than enough that most people will need. You cannot expand it, so if you run out of space, you're going to have to use some of that cloud storage and get rid of these photos that I'm sure you're going to take tons of. We also get wireless charging on the Pixel 5, which is definitely a must these days. Any phone without wireless charging is not going to be in my pocket. And we also get reverse wireless charging to charge up your favorite buds. And I need that wireless charging capability just because I have them all over the house at this point, and it just would make no sense for me to remove them just to go back to an old school wire. But if you do, 18 watts is your charging via cable, and again, that is acceptable. It's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest either. Finally, to round out the specs, guys, we do have stereo speakers, and you might be asking yourself, where's that cutout for the earpiece? It's an in-display speaker, so you're not going to see any cutout, again, making the Pixel 5 look extremely modern with these small bezels, with these thin bezels, and the lack of an earpiece. Definitely a modern looking device. On the back, you get this awesome sort of sage color or the just black. Here's your fingerprint scanner. You also have a 12.2 megapixel tried and true shooter, as well as a 16 megapixel wide angle. More about the Pixel camera in just a second. The one thing that's not here that I've kind of come accustomed to is face unlock. There is no face unlock on the Pixel 5, but again, this fingerprint scanner on the back and the placement is so perfect that by the time I pick this out of my pocket, it's already unlocked and ready to go. So I don't really worry about face unlock all that much these days, but it would have been nice in a $700 device. There's one more thing I want to mention about the actual hardware, about the device on the phone, and that's the choice to use a bioresin on top of an aluminum frame, an aluminum body. I really like Google's choice here. I don't usually like putting cases on my devices, but I generally have to because of the glass back. I live in a metropolitan area here in New York City. Usually we have a ton of people walking around, the subways are packed, and if you don't have a case on your phone, you're just living on the edge, and I'm generally not the type of person to live on the edge. But now with the Pixel 5 having an aluminum back, I'm able to use this phone the way the manufacturer intended. I'm able to use this phone the way Google wanted us to feel the phone in hand, and it feels really nice in hand. I really like the way this textured bioresin feels in hand, and it means that I can rock out my phone raw dog with just a screen protector on the front. I don't really have to worry too much about this, and that's actually what I've been doing. I did not put a case on this device. I am not going to use a case on it because I don't feel the need to, so I like a stronger material on the back. And you might be asking yourself, how do you get wireless charging through metal? Well, Google actually put a little cutout that you cannot feel to allow for that wireless coil to pass through the electricity. So well done for Google. I'm hoping more manufacturers copy this and give us stronger materials and get rid of those fragile glass backs. Going back to a phone where you just had to put on a screen protector, let me know down in the comments below if you remember those days. Those are the good old days. Those are the good old times that I remember, and I'm happy to return to those times. It's all about a nice feeling phone in hand, and instead of feeling a plastic bulky case. Now that we have those nerd specs out of the way, take a look at this 6-inch OLED panel. It's an HDR Plus capable panel, and you do have a 90 Hz refresh rate. What does 90 Hz mean? If you're not too sure what 90 Hz mean, it just means that it's the refresh rate. So you're going to have a faster refresh rate as you're trolling through your apps. As you're trolling through the gram, it's going to just scroll along a lot smoother and a lot nicer. And the same goes for when you guys are trolling the web and you're just going through your day, kind of trolling on your feed and seeing what's going on. It's going to just be a little bit of a smoother experience. So that's something that I can highly recommend. If you are buying a phone in 2020, 60 Hz is definitely outdated. 60 Hz is not something you want to pick up, but the 6-inch display is also very manageable in the hand, so you don't have to do any any sort of hand gymnastics to navigate through the menu options and navigate through all of your apps or scroll down from the notification bar. It's just a very manageable phone, and that means that it's also manageable in your pocket. Once again, it's not a huge device, but I think Google nailed the sweet spot of just making a phone big enough that it's an enjoyable experience when you're watching YouTube. Or when you're just trolling the web again, you're going to have enough screen real estate to make an enjoyable experience. One thing that's a nice bonus, you can also scroll your finger down on the fingerprint scanner to bring down that notification shade. So again, you don't really have to do any hand gymnastics anyway, but if you want to make things simpler, just go ahead and scroll down on the fingerprint scanner and you'll be able to access everything you need. So just speaking about trolling throughout your day, a lot of us troll YouTube, a lot of us watch a lot of YouTube TV these days. And again, the 6-inch panel is definitely a really nice panel, very vibrant. I think you get a lot of nice color accuracy on the panel as well. It is only 1080, but again, I don't really think you need a 4K screen. At least I haven't noticed a difference. I haven't really gone running back to my higher end spec phone because of the 4K screen. This 1080 panel is one of the best 1080 panels that I've seen, and it does have stereo speakers once again. So let's listen to the quality of the stereo speakers.
Brand new Google Pixel 5 in this awesome sage color. So let's get right into it, unbox it, and see what it's all about. In this video, we're going to unbox the Google Pixel 5. We're just going to take a look at the overall hardware.
As you just heard, most of the sound comes from this bottom firing speaker. You'll get a little bit of assistance from the in-screen speaker right there. So if you're somebody that listens to a lot of music or you watch a lot of videos without having a Bluetooth headset, I'm not one of those people. I always have a Bluetooth headset on me when I'm listening to music or when I'm watching YouTube videos on the go. If you just listen to the phone speakers, this might be one area where you might be a little bit underwhelmed. And that's one negative to having a modern kind of in-display speaker. You really hear most of the sound from the bottom. So if you watch a lot of YouTube or you watch TV on your phone, most of the sound is going to come from this bottom speaker. And as you heard, very little comes from the top. That's just one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys. In terms of phone call quality, I didn't notice any difference. I was able to hear the person perfectly fine. It might take you a hot minute just to kind of know where to place your ear, but even if it's off center, you still are able to hear them. Of course, placing your ear directly where the speaker is, you're going to get a much better experience, but I have no problems with this, guys. I'd rather take an in-display speaker and have a modern looking device than have something that maybe has a little bit of a notch and doesn't look as good. I like the thin bezels. I like the way this looks. There's one thing I want to address with the 765 processor. It's a processor that really can keep up with you. It can really keep up with everyday tasks while sipping battery life. The Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a, quite honestly, have taught me that I don't need a high-end spec. I don't need the latest and greatest specs to actually have an enjoyable experience. You don't need the 865. You don't need the latest and greatest processor. If you're the average person, if you're just making phone calls, if you're just trolling the web, if you're just doing what normal people do, you don't need the highest end processor that's most likely more power hungry. The 765G is a very snappy, very capable processor, and I do want to stress that this is something that can keep up with you with your daily life. This is something that can multitask with the best of them. Let's talk about the Google goodness built inside the Pixel 5, starting with the camera. 9 times out of 10, if you ask somebody, why did they pick up a Pixel device, they're going to tell you it's for the camera. And honestly, I have to agree with that. Now with the wide angle lens on the back of it, it's even a more enjoyable experience. I'm more of a wide angle landscape type of shooter, nature type of shooter, so I like a wide angle. Thankfully, Google did put it on the Pixel 5 and it does a good job. I'm going to show you some photos right now. I think the camera on the Pixel 5 is still one of the best cameras on the market. It's the only shooter that I'm comfortable with just pressing that shutter button once, and I know it's going to take the perfect shot. The picture is going to look just as I see it without looking through the lens, and that's something I can't say for a lot of other cameras out there. It's not overly saturated. It has a more natural look. It has a more true to life look. And again, one shot is all it takes. Press that shutter button. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the perfect shot. And if you happen to take a shot where you might have closed your eyes, Google does give you some recommendations. It does take a couple shots before and after, and it'll tell you, hey, your eyes were closed. Why don't you try one of these other shots? So I like that. Again, that's the Pixel experience. That's the Pixel goodness. Number one is the camera. And let me know what you think about the camera samples down in the comments below. Show you another example of the zoom quality because I think Google did a really nice job with the digital zoom. Here's a picture of a ram that was just chilling on the mountain. So if we zoom in, you can't really see all that much detail about him. But if we go into my super high-res zoom, we can definitely see a lot more about this guy. You can even see his battle wounds. You can see he might have gotten a little tussle, or maybe he fell down the mountain. I don't know what was going on with him, but the digital zoom is quite impressive, and it still keeps a lot of the detail, even though he was super far away. Now, I'm not too sure how far he was, but if we take a look at that original photo, he was definitely out there. He was not close at all. So again, I think Google did a nice job with their digital zoom. There's one more feature that's definitely worth mentioning, guys, and that's the portrait light feature. I think Google does an awesome job with their portrait mode anyway. It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like something AI did. It kind of looks really natural in my opinion. But we also have this portrait light now, so we can go in and change the way the light hits on the portrait shots. And again, I think that's really nice. I think that's a good way of going in and kind of changing the way your portrait shots look, kind of making you a more professional photographer. And I think a lot of people can fake the funk with a Pixel device, making others think that they are professional when they've just been using their Pixel phone and getting some awesome shots. So Google, again, is giving us a lot of features, a lot of new features on the Pixel 5. This, by the way, is coming to other Pixels, so look for it in your Pixel device if you have something like the 4, 4XL, etc. But I think this is a great addition, and I think it's just something that's a lot of fun to do. Other than the camera, there's a lot to like about the Google Pixel 5. The Pixel experience, the Pixel goodness continues well past the camera. And one of those places where the Google Pixel just stands ahead of the crowd is in battery life. The 4080 milliamp hour battery in here, even for the heaviest of users, you're still going to make it through a full day. Now, I use this phone snapping a whole bunch of photos, replying to text messages, making some phone calls, listening to music, using Waze as navigation, trolling the web, trolling the gram. I just use this phone heavy, and I was still able to make it to about 11:30 at night with about 15% of battery. So I can tell you that if you're a heavy user, you still will get a full day of battery use. If you're a lighter user, you'll get about a day and a half, maybe even a little bit more. It all depends on your usage. Battery life is one of those things that really depends on your usage. For me personally, I'm always on LTE or 5G. I have Bluetooth enabled all the time. I also have location turned on all the time, as well as NFC, because, well, I'm a beast. I like to have my phone on full blast. I like to be able to use all the features that are on a device when I have it in my pocket. I don't want to take that extra split second to go in and turn on this and turn on that. You might as well leave everything on and enjoy the phone as it's intended to be enjoyed. But if you do need a little bit of boost, if you do need a little bit of an extension on your battery life, you do have this battery saver mode, which extreme battery saver mode is something that actually really works. I pushed this phone hard one day. I didn't charge it for a day and a half until it absolutely went dead, and I was able to turn on this feature. When I tell you it turns everything off, this is an extreme battery saver. It even disabled the calculator. I was not able to even use the calculator without re-enabling it, but if you do have some essential apps that you want to keep on at all times, even if you have the extreme battery saver turned on, you can choose any app that you want, and it's not going to disable that app. So Google did a good job with their extreme battery saver, letting you just get a little bit of extra boost when you need it. But for most of us, I think we'll be able to make it through the entire day with the Google Pixel 5. So for that, that's that Pixel magic. That's that Pixel experience that's going to keep going throughout the day. There are a couple other little things that I really like about the Google Pixel 5, and one of those things that keeps me coming back to the Pixel again is this call screen ability. Now I get more robocalls than I'd like to. I get a lot of spam calls. I get a lot of calls from people I just don't know. And the Google Assistant is one of those ways where you don't have to be interrupted when you're just enjoying your day. You don't have to have your day ruined by talking to a spam caller, by talking to someone who just is trying to get your information. Well, with the spam and call screen ability on the Pixel 5, your phone doesn't even ring if it doesn't know the number. Your phone doesn't even ring if it thinks it's a spam call. If it's been marked as a fake number. So here we go, perfect timing. I'm just getting a phone call from my friend and I'm going to send them to my Google Assistant because I love doing that. I think it's something pretty cool. Once you get a phone call, you can send them to the Google Assistant, and I absolutely love doing that. Even if it's a friend calling, I love getting a kick out of what their responses are, but I also love the fact that I don't get interrupted by spam callers. I don't get interrupted by people that might have misdialed. Here's a quick example of a spam caller that's telling me that they've tried to reach me and my coverage is expired. The Google Assistant just hung up on them because it recognized it as spam, or maybe they hung up because, well, they don't like being spammed either, so you're spamming the spammer, and I give Google a thumbs up for that. Another awesome feature of the Google Pixel 5, again, the Pixel experience, just a whole bunch of little things that add up to a whole bunch in terms of an experience, is this hold for me option. How many times have you called your cable company, called whoever you have to call, and they just place you on hold for 30 minutes, 1 hour, even 2 hours these days? The hold times have become absolutely ridiculous. Well, with hold for me, the Google Assistant will hold the line, and when an actual human being comes on, it'll let you know so that you can resume your phone call, letting you continue throughout your day, letting you do whatever you have to do without holding the phone up, without actually having to waste your time waiting to speak to someone else. The hold for me feature, the spam screening, the call screening are just a whole bunch of little features that add up to the huge Pixel experience, and those things are what keeps me coming back to the Google Pixel line. It's just the little things like giving us Pixel drops from time to time, just adding some new features that just keep me on this Pixel device, that really keep me coming back to these Pixel phones, because I like the little things that add up to a lot. As they say, it's the little things in life, and that's definitely true when it comes to the Pixel 5. Another feature that makes the Pixel experience a lot better than some other devices out there is we have this always on display, which generally is something that we have on mostly every device, but at the bottom of it you get this now playing feature that'll tell you whatever song is playing around you. How many times have you been out and you really like a song, you open up Shazam or SoundHound, and just as you open up the app, the song finishes. Well, now you'll have a running tally of whatever songs have been around you. Again, if you enable it, you can disable it if you want. So let me just give you a prime example of how this works, using one of my favorite new songs now from Justin Bieber. Settings, you can see a running tally of everything that's been around you ever since you've had that feature enabled. So if ever you want to go back and you remember on Sunday you were at the club and you heard this really awesome song, you can just go in, click on it, and then you'll be able to choose a different way to listen to it. Let's click on YouTube and it should bring up the video right away. And there it is, Shy If I Ever Fall in Love. So again, I really like this feature. This is an awesome feature. It's an awesome Pixel experience feature that once you get used to, it really is something that you miss when you switch to other devices. So again, it's about the little things when it comes to the Pixel 5 that add up to a lot, that add up to the overall enjoyment of this phone. And it's the reason why I keep coming back to the Pixel 5. And I also like updates. I'm really happy when I get an update. I like security updates, and with the Google Pixel 5, we'll get 3 years of updates. That's another Pixel experience reason why you want to pick up the Google Pixel 5, because you're always going to get the latest updates day one. Whenever they're released, you're going to be able to get those updates. You're going to get that little smile on your face knowing that, hey, I got Android 12, I'm the first one on the block. You're going to get it 3 or 6 months down the road, maybe even a year depending on some manufacturers. So again, it's the overall experience of a Pixel device. It's the overall enjoyment of a Google Pixel device. Now, whether you pick up the Google Pixel 5 or you saw here, I do have the Pixel 4a, you're going to get almost the same experience. Either way, whatever your budget allows for, I think you're going to be really happy with either one of these devices. If you want to see a comparison between these two, let me know down in the comments below. There's one more piece of the Pixel experience. Again, it's all about a whole bunch of little experiences that lead up to a great experience overall. It has to do with the home screen, and this is a feature that I really like personally. If you go to your home screen settings here, you have an option for suggestions, which will put suggested apps on your home screen right at the bottom. And of course, when you open up the app drawer, you'll get suggested applications right at the top. But what I like about this on the home screen, I've pinned my favorite 4 applications on the left and the right side, and I've left the center application for whatever app I use less, and I think that's an awesome idea. Again, it's just a little feature that adds up to the overall experience. So right now I have my Garmin Connect application, which I opened last, but if I go in and maybe I want to open something like my Geico application, once I'm done with this application and close it, it's going to put it right down at the bottom here. And I think that's something super cool. If you're someone that uses Instagram and Facebook a lot, it'll always keep the center application rotating. It'll always rotate whatever you use last. Chances are, 5 out of 10 times when you open one application and close it, you're going to go back to it the next time you unlock your phone. That's true during the workday when you have a lot of emails, you're opening up emails, then you're surfing the web. You got to go back to your emails, so you're always going to have a rotating app right at the bottom in the center. And for me, that's something that I personally enjoy. That's something that I really like. Not to mention scrolling to the right to get my Google feed, and it's just a very well integrated phone. If you're into the Google ecosystem, you're really going to like the Pixel 5. Google has the KISS method going with the Pixel 5. They just want to keep it simple. They just want to keep things as smooth as possible, and that's what I like about the Pixel 5. It's just about the Pixel experience. It's just about the little things that add up to a lot when it comes to the overall enjoyment of using a cell phone. If you're looking for an awesome device that's going to be able to keep up with you, awesome battery life, definitely an awesome camera, and then all those little Pixel experiences that add up to a whole bunch of enjoyment, at least for me, is a reason that I always come back to this Pixel device, and it's a reason why I think you guys should choose it. Other manufacturers have to tout the latest and greatest specs, have to throw a whole bunch of features, hoping that one of them resonates with you, but not Google. Google keeps it simple. They just make a phone that works, and for most of us, having a phone that works and that's easy to use as well as enjoyable is really all that it's about. But if you have any questions about this phone, let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate you watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.